Morning, Department of Collegiate and Technical Education, Principles of Transportation Engineering, Module 1, Session 3, Highway Engineering, part of third semester, Civil Engineering. Subject code is 18CV56. Today, we are learning about the different urban road classification. In the previous class, we learnt about the classification throughout the India, like a national highway, state highway, MDR, ODR, and also the VR, village road. But in this class today, we are more concentrated on urban road classification. So in urban areas or in the city areas, the roads are classified into arterial roads, subarterial roads, collector street or collector road, local street, cul-de-sac road or street, pathway, and driveways. Let's see one by one what are all the features of these different categories of arterial roads. No frontage access, no standing vehicle, very little cross traffic. So there will not be any parking of the vehicles, and also the vehicles, there is no entry of vehicle from the sideways. So these are the characters. Design speed 80 kmph per hour. Land width 50 to 60 meters. Divided roadways with full or partial parking. So you can have a two-way traffic, that is for going and coming back, or onward traffic and also the vehicle which is coming from the other side. So you can have a median or a separator. Pedestrian allowed to walk only at intersections. So there is no entry for pedestrians. Only at designated places such as the intersections, the pedestrian can come and walk or come and cross the road. Second one, subarterial roads, bus stops but no standing vehicle. So the vehicle will not come and stand, but there will be a bus stops. Less mobility than the arterial. Spacing for CBD means Central Business District, it is 0.5 kilometer. Design speed 60 kmph per hour or 60 km per hour. Land width, usually the land width which is available for construction of subarterial road is 30 to 40 meters. Collector streets, collect and distribute the traffic from local streets. So local streets are the streets which give access to each and every house or shop. So whatever the roads you see just when you come out from in front of your house, right? So that is the local street. So the collector street collects and distributes the traffic from local streets. Provide access to arterial roads. Okay, collector street, they provide an access or entry to the arterial roads. Located in residential, business and industrial area, you can see these type of roads in all these areas. Full access allowed, so there will not be any restriction. Parking is permitted. Design speed is 50 kmph. Land width is 20 to 30 meter. Coming to the local streets, design speed is 30 kmph. So you cannot travel, that is whatever the road which give access to your homes, right? So the road which is there in front of your house, right? So those are the local roads. Usually the design speed is 30 kmph. Land width 10 to 20 meter. Probably you can have a road width of 30 feet or a 40 feet in front of your house. So it is only small one, right? 10 to 20 meter. Primary access to residence. So as I told you, so it is the road which gives an access to your homes, business or any other abutting property. Less volume of traffic at slow speed. Unrestricted parking, pedestrian movement with frontage access, parked vehicle, bus stops are no waiting restrictions. So you can park your vehicle, pedestrian can also walk Pedestrian can also cross the road, right? They can move. All those things can happen in this local streets. So another important one, right? Cul-de-sac street. So here it gives a one beautiful picture of this cul-de-sac street. Here you can see dead-end street with only one entry access for entry and exit. So here you can see that this road is ending here itself. There is no complete access to another road. So this road is stopping here. Here also this road is stopping. Here also you can see here this road is not moved forward. It is stopped here itself. So there is a dead end here. Here also there is a dead end. So dead end street with only one entry access and for entry and exit. Recommended in residential area. So in almost all your residential area or housing area, you can have this type of a road. So these roads are basically for urban roads. Let's see what are all the different patterns in which you can construct or build a road in the entire area. The first one is rectangular or block pattern, radial or star block pattern, radial or star circular pattern, radial or star and grid pattern, hexagonal pattern, minimum travel pattern. So these are the different patterns of road. You can see here the first one, radial or star and circular pattern. So this the center place of this sketch. So here you can see there is a black mark. This is nothing but CBD. We popularly called as a CBD. CBD is Central Business District. Any important area is you call it as a CBD. Just to give an example, in Bangalore, if you consider Vidhan Sauda and Krishnaraja Market, KR Market, so even we can call that Vidhan Sauda as a Central Business District, CBD. Even KR Market is very much a central business district where all your commercial activities, where the people will come, the people will move, right? All the different types of activities will going to occur. So even if you consider Vidhan Sauda, it is also you can call it as a CBD. Even the KR Market in Bangalore, that also you can call it as a central business district. Here, surrounding these central business districts, you can see the development or the construction of your road. Here, this is called radial road. Here, right, so it is the entire roads are constructed or built in the form of a ring. So you can see these roads, right, they are called as a ring road. Here, you can see inside this, here you can see the small structures. These are nothing but your built-up area. Built-up area could be anything, any commercial establishment, shops, school, colleges, right, or even the residential, anything. It could be anything. Built-up area could be anything. So this is the sketch of a typical sketch of radial or star and circular pattern. Coming to the second one, radial or star and block pattern. The remaining remains as it is. That is, this is the central business district. These are the radial roads. Here you can see these are the rectangular pattern. So here you can see that the development take place in the form of a rectangular shape or a rectangular pattern. This could be, again, it could be a commercial complexes or a commercial establishment, or it could be a residential complexes. These are the built up area. Third, rectangular or block pattern. You can see here the entire thing looks like a rectangle, and this block, right, it looks neat, but it has got many disadvantages. So here this is the built up area. Again, this is the central business district, right? These are the main road. Here you can see main road, and these were the cross road. Main road, cross road, central business district, and built up areas. Next one, radial or star and grid pattern. This you can see appears like a web, spider's web, right? So again, this is the central business district. These are called as a grids, focal point, and here the radial roads. So the entire road will be built in this fashion or in this type of a pattern. So I just repeat, radial or star and circular pattern, radial or star and block pattern, rectangular or block pattern, radial or star and grid pattern. Hexagonal pattern and minimum travel pattern. Okay, so just only you need to know about the sketches, right? So the hexagonal pattern, the roads will be in this param, and minimum travel pattern. Coming to the surveys, right? So before construction of any road, you need to have a survey, right? So planning survey, we call that as a planning survey. We need to plan, and for that plan we need to do some surveys. So what are the objectives? Why you want to do this planning surveys? First one, to work out the financial system and recommend changes in tax arrangements and budget procedure, provide efficient, safe, economics, comfortable and speedy movement for goods and vehicle. So first thing, whenever we say that planning means, particularly in India, planning is, we do planning very good in a neat way, but execution will not be doing in a proper way. So for that purpose, planning is very, very important. Not only planning, when we say that planning, first thing that comes to our mind is the cost, because in India we have the budget or the resources are very limited, whereas the demand is very high. The resource or the budget is limited, whereas the construction of road is, requirement of road is very huge. So for that purpose, we need to plan and utilize whatever the fund or whatever the money which is available to build the most economical and also the quality roads or highways. So for that purpose, planning is very, very important. Second one, plan a road network for efficient traffic operation at minimum cost. So you need to build a road network so that it is very, very efficient, and at the same time it should be at a minimum cost. So in India, particularly in India, we give more preference for the cost. That too, we need to construct any structure, not only the roads, any civil engineering structure at a minimum cost. Particularly if you go for any government work, all the government work will be awarded or it will be given for the person who quotes very less value. Same procedure, right? So the same thing, the minimum cost needs to be considered. Plan for a future requirement and improvement of roads in the view of development and social needs. Fix up data-wise priority for development of each road link based on their utilities. You need to develop a different road links based on their utilities. For what purpose it will going to be connected, how effective it will going to be used. So for this you need to conduct some of the studies. These studies include, first one, economic studies, financial studies, traffic or road user studies, engineering studies. Let's see what are all the data or details that are collected in each studies. Details collected during economic study. So what are all the details? Population and distribution. You need to consider the population and how they are distributed. Distributed means whether it can be anything. The population may be in the urban area, in the rural area or even in the urban area, only in some locality. What is the age group? How much is the male percentage? How much is the female percentage? All these things, right? All this distribution age wise, how many persons are the people living in the age of 10 years, 10 to 20 years, 20 to 30 years age, like that. Any classification you can make. Trend of population growth. How the population has grown in recent years. What is the trend? What is the percentage? Whether it is 2%, 5%, 10%. In 5 years, how much is the growth? In 10 years, how much is the growth? All these things you need to know. Age and land products. So, age of the persons or the public or the population. Existing facility. So, what are all the existing facilities there? Schools, colleges, banks, financial, everything. Then per capita income. What is the income? Per capita, per head. How much is the income of the person or how much is the income of the family? All these things you need to consider. All the data or the details has to be collected. So for this, you need to do the survey. You need to personally visit the homes. You need to do the surveys, right? You need to consult the people. All these things you need to do. Second one, details collected during financial studies. Sources of income. So how the population or the people get their income, whether it is through the jobs, whether it is through the business, whether it is through the agriculture or by any other mode. So what is the source of income? Then living standard. So how much they are capable of spending, how much they can purchase, what is their income, whether they are having a two-wheeler, four-wheeler, right? What are the household things which are there? All these things is going to decide the living standard of that family. The same thing if you apply for the whole area, you can apply for the whole area of the city. Okay, so you can just to give an example. So the living standard in Bangalore, it is more comfortable, more superior than the whatever the living standards is there in other parts of the city. Other parts of the Karnataka. Then resource from local levels. So what are all the resources you can get from the local? Then factor trends in financial aspect. Next is the details which is to be collected for traffic study. Origin and destination studies based on home interview method. You need to find out or you need to interview the people origin and destination, from where they go and where they live. So just to give an example, if you are going from home to your office, so home becomes your origin and office becomes your destination, right? So similarly, while coming back from office, office becomes your origin and home becomes your destination. Similarly, it could be for any commercial activity, right? It could be for your office, it could be for your school, college, banking, or if some farmer is visiting any shops, right? For him, his village or his home becomes origin, right? And the shops become destination. So you need to conduct origin and destination. How many days or how many times they go in a day or how many days they go in a month, like that. All this information you need to collect. Traffic flow pattern, how the traffic flows, right? Then mass transportation facility. What are all the mass transportation facilities there? Buses is there, right? Your metro, all these things will add for this mass transportation. Then accidents, their causes and cost analysis. How many accidents are occurring in a year? What is the cost? How much is the cost incurred in that accident? What is the death rate? How many fatalities? Right? How many injuries? What is the cost involved? Vehicle damage, even the family gets distracted, right? All these things you need to consider and you need to analyze. Next, future trend and growth in traffic volume and goods traffic trend in traffic pattern. So what is the future trend? So if you see the traffic today, after 5 years after 10 years, the same traffic will not be there. Usually the traffic, as the population increases, the traffic also increases. So you need to calculate the trends in population traffic as well as the population growth and traffic volume. Growth of passenger trips and trend in choice of modes. So how many times you are making a trip? If you are going from home to your school or college or to office, probably one time or two times you go in a day. But few people are there in business field, they frequently travel, maybe 4 to 5 times or 10 times they travel in a day. It depends on their business or the activity. And choice of transportation, how they travel, whether they use their own vehicle, whether they go by auto, whether they go by bus, whether they go by metro, all these things, right? So choice of transportation, all this information, all this survey needs to be done for this traffic study. Most important, engineering studies, that is topographical study and soil studies. So suppose you want to construct a road or a highway, you need to first look at the topography, how the topography of the land or the area is there, whether it is a hilly area, whether it is a rolling area. Usually we classify the terrain, or whether it is a plain terrain. All these types you need to know. And also soil details, what type of soil, because your selection of road, the cost involved in the road construction mainly depends upon the type of soil. Usually the black cotton soil will be having a cost, the cost of construction of road or a highway in a black cotton soil will be more compared to your gravelly or a red soil. So you need to, because we consider what is called as a California bearing ratio, CBR. CBR ratio decides the thickness of your pavement. So as the thickness increases, the pavement cost also increases. If the CBR is good, the thickness of the pavement will be less. So the cost will be less. It's directly related. Location and classification of existing roads. Assessment of various other types in the area that they are likely due to a proposed highway development. Road life studies. Specific problem in drainage construction and maintenance. So another important thing is, in the highway we need to give importance for drainage. That is, whatever the water which falls on the road surface whenever in a rainy season, and also there could be due to underground water table, right? It should not come to the surface, top surface of the road. Otherwise, your road gets disturbed. So for that purpose, you need to efficiently drain off this water, whatever the surface water and whatever the rainfall water. So for that purpose, you need to have a very good drainage system, and also the drainage has to be maintained properly. That's why if you see any road or a highway, all along your roadways or highways, you can see the drains. These drains are nothing but your longitudinal drains. It is mainly for the purpose of the disposal of water. Whatever the water which falls on the pavement surface, right, that has to be effectively and efficiently disposed. Then only your pavement will going to be sustained. Next one, saturation system. In this system, the optimum road length is calculated for an area based on the concept of attaining maximum utility per unit length of road. This is also called as maximum utility system. Saturation system is also called as a maximum utility system. So there are three factors which are considered in maximum utility system per unit length. Maximum utility per unit length. So first one, population served by the road network. How much is the population is served by the road network? If you are providing a road for any two places, how much population or how many people are getting benefited from that road. Second one, productivity served by the network. How much is the industrial product or the produce is served by that road network by connecting the two cities. Third, agricultural product. How many agricultural products or how many farmers are getting benefited. Population factors are units. The area under the consideration consists of villages and towns with different population, and these are grouped into convenient population range with some reasonable values and giving unit for each population range. That means in India and also in district, and also if you consider any state or a city, it will be having a different populations. All the villages in India are not having the same population, or the districts in India will not be having the same population. So we are classifying the population, right, and giving some utility unit. We are fixing that utility unit for that population. Just to give an example, population, any city or usually you don't have a city, but you call village. Any village having a population less than 500, all are grouped into one, and that villages will be given a utility unit of 0.25. Similarly, a village having a population of 501 to 1000 will be having a utility unit of 0.5. 1001 to 2000 population utility unit is 1. 2001 to 5000 utility unit is 2. Like that you can assume depending on the population. If you are going for a city, usually the city will be having a population more than 10,000, lakh, etc. So you need to assume the suitable utility units. Productivity units are factors. The total agricultural and industrial products served by each road systems are worked out, and productivity served may be assigned appropriate value of utility unit per unit weight. Here we are considering the weight because we are considering agricultural product as well as the industrial product. We consider in terms of tonnages, right? How many tons of agricultural or industrial product. Example, 1000 tons of agricultural product may be assigned as 1 unit. 1000 tons of agricultural product, you may assume it as 1 unit. 1000 tons of industrial products may be assumed as 5 or 10 units, because agricultural products carries a higher value than the industrial products. The industrial products carries a higher value than the agricultural products. So total utility units is calculated by adding both agricultural units as well as the industrial units. So in the previous slide I have shown you need to calculate both the agricultural unit as well as the industrial unit. So total unit is both summation or adding both these agricultural as well as the industrial. So to arrive at an optimum road length, this is calculated by using each road length or the proposal will have a different utility unit. The road length or the proposal which is having a maximum utility unit per unit length is considered as the final road length. That means it will be given the first preference. Since as I told you in the beginning of this lecture, in India we have a shortage of fund or the money. The demand for construction of the road or the highway is very huge. Everybody wants the road. Everybody or every city or every village or a town in India wants a good road system or a good road network. But the money available to construct that is not available with the government. So what you have to do, it is not possible to take up all the roads simultaneously. You cannot take up all the roads because there is a shortage of problem. So what you have to do, you have to give a preference for the road or the road network which gives a highest utility unit based on this population as well as the agricultural and production unit. The road network or the road which you get highest value, that will be given the first preference. So it is giving a preference for the first person. So optimum road length is calculated by using each road length or the proposal will have a different utility units. The road length or the proposal which is having a maximum utility per unit length. Maximum utility per unit length, that will be considered as the first one of the selected first. So let's try to understand this with an example. So here you can see that there are 4 proposals for a road network. We'll just name it as P, Q, R, and S. The proposal P has a total road length of 300 km. Q has 400 km. R has 500 km. S has 550 km. So here you can see number of towns and villages served with population ranges. There are 1001 to 2000 population. There are about 160 towns and villages having a population of 1001 to 2000 in this proposal P, which is having a 300 km. Similarly, Q is 200, R is 240, S is 248. Similarly, you can see the population ranges 2001 to 5000, and these are the number of cities and the towns having this much of population. Here 5001 to 10,000. Here it is 10,000. Okay. Here more than 10,000. 6, 8, 10 and 12. Total agricultural industrial products served is here 200. This is in tons. 200, 270, 315 and 330. That's all this. So the problem is an imaginary area with an existing roads as shown. There are 4 alternatives P, Q, or S with different road length. By adding an extra road link to the existing road in the area, the details of population and the product served are given. Work out the utility per unit length of each system and indicate which system is considered to be optimum with maximum utility per unit length. Assume utility unit of 0.25, 0.5, 1, 2.5 respectively for the villages served with population ranges 1000 to 2000, 2000 to 5000, 5000 to 10,000 and higher than 10,000. Productivity unit 1000 tons as 1 unit. So this is the problem. So this you need to assume the values, whatever the values which they have given in the problem. Like 1001 to 2000, you need to assume it as 0.25. 2001 to 5000, you need to assume it as 0.5. Solution: road proposal PQRS, right? Road length 300, 400, same thing. Here you just need to multiply the total number of towns and cities with their respective utility units. So it is 160 by into 0.25. It is 80 into 0.5, 30 into 1, 6 into 2.5. Similarly, you substitute the values for the other and calculate. So total units here, population, so it is 125. You just add all these 160 into 0.25, 80 into plus 80 into 0.5 plus 30 into 1 plus 6 into 2.5. So it comes to 125. Similarly, 200 into 0.25 plus 90 into 0.5 plus 60 into 1 plus 8 into 2.5. So the total is 175. Similarly, work out the other thing. So productivity. So what they have given in productivity unit, here they have given it as 1000 tons as 1 unit. So here the problem 200,000 tons. Here it is 1000 tons. So 200 into 1. So it is both for agriculture and industrial. If it is industrial, if the value was not given in the problem, then you could have assumed it as higher value, probably 5 or 10 for industrial product compared to the agriculture. But here they have clearly mentioned it is both for agricultural as well as the industrial products. So it is 200 into 1 only. Similarly, 200 same 270 into 1, 315 into 1 plus 315 into 1. So it remains same thing. So utility per unit length of road is, so you need to add both this population unit and productivity unit. That divided by the total road length of the road network. That is 125 plus 200, 325 divided by the total road length. That is 300. So you are getting 1.083. Similarly, for Q, 175 plus 270, 445. Total road length is 400. So 1.12. Similarly, for S, you are getting 1.05. And for S, you are getting 1.0. So you need to prioritize. There are 4 road plans, PQRS. All the roads you cannot take up at the time. Only the road network which gives highest utility unit per unit length, that should be given the first priority. So in this 1.112 is greater among all these things, right? So the first road length, this has to be constructed first. So this has to be the first one of the top priority. So that's why we mention it as 1. Here 1.083, this is second, third 1.05 and 1.01, that is the last one. So the order of priority is, first one is Q, second one is P, third one is R, and the fourth one is S. So Q, P, R, S is the priority. Let's solve some of the multiple questions on the topic just now for the session. First one, which is not a urban road network or a system? First one, grid iron system, concentric and radial street system, polynomial street system, organic street system. Answer is C, polynomial street system. These are all the road systems, but this is not a adopted or a regular street system. An example of combination of rectangular with radial street pattern. New Delhi, Bhubaneswar, Chandigarh, Gandhinagar. The answer is A. That is, New Delhi has been built, and it is a classic example of combination of rectangular with radial street pattern. If you see entire Delhi, it has built in this fashion. The streets which give access to individual houses are arterial street, local street, collector street, subarterial street. The answer is local street. So the local street gives an immediate access to your individual homes. Nagpur road plan follows dash pattern. Star and grid, radial or block, radial or circular, none of that. Answer is star and grid. Anyway, you are going to learn about this Nagpur road plan in the future classes. There you are going to learn how these roads are built in the star and grid pattern. Which is not a part of planning survey for a highway project? Social and economic, economic and traffic, financial and traffic, none of the above. Answer is social and economic. You are doing economic and traffic, financial, but you are not doing the social survey. The determination of optimum length is based on saturation system, geometry design, type of highway, length of highway. Answer is A, that is saturation. The utility unit as per saturation system for a population of less than 1001 to 2000 is 0.25, 0.5, 1, 2. Answer is C. Usually we assume as 1 for a population range 1001 to 2000. Factors to attain maximum utility per unit length are population served by the road network, productivity served by the road network, that is both agricultural and industrial, all of the above. So answer is D, all of the above. The final step after fixing the optimum length of the road is financing, construction, phasing, preparation of master plan. So phasing is the step which is done after fixing the optimum length of the road. Coal and iron ore material may be assigned dash utility value as that of industrial products. Higher, lower, same cannot be determined. Answer is lower. Coal and iron, even though they are used for the industrial purpose, their utility units, it cannot be considered equal to that of industrial unit. It has to be lower utility value than that of industrial products. So the answer is B. Thank you.